So, William,
right.
who is a class act, what is the class act?
All right, so it is it's a comprehensive bill that provides long-term care for all of us. Now, here's the deal, though. This is going to be a payroll deduction on your pay stub. It's automatically deducted from your bill unless you opt out. So because they want everyone to pay for it, so they're going to put it in there until you have to say, what the heck is this SSI? I have FICA, I have state, local taxes. What's this new Class Act deduction?
So it's long-term disability furnished by the government?
It's a long-term. It is the first of its kind federal long-term care insurance program. It was championed by Ted Kennedy. When you Google it, you find some references to it back into July, and then that's it. There's nothing about it, but definitely this is in the bill. I talked to CMS, which is Medicaid and Medicare Services. We know it is in there, and here's what it is. They're going to collect about $102 billion over the next 10 years, and then after a 5-year vesting period, you'll be eligible to get out. So when you retire and you need help bathing, dressing, eating, any of these kinds of limitations that all of us are arguably going to sometime probably encounter, then you can get up to $75 a day to help pay for in-home services for this kind of thing. But the deduction from your paycheck ranges from, and these are government numbers, both CBO and CMS numbers, are from $150 to $240 a month.
What's surprising to me is that that's pretty high because, I've spent time looking into various
long-term care?
All kinds of different
long-term disability through the company.
Yeah, exactly. Through the company, through your bank, through your mortgage insurance. I mean, there's various ways to get it, and it's usually not that expensive.
Yeah, but the private care programs, generally speaking, have the end dates, meaning 5 years worth of 2 years, 3 years worth of services, etc. This federal program is good for as long as you're disabled, if you will. Now, it's not meant to be in-home nursing care. This is designed so you can stay in your home and still get services. Now, as you guys know, and I don't want to get too in the weeds on this thing, but right now, if you want long-term nursing care paid for by the government, you have to get rid of your house and your car and your assets and basically go on Medicaid, then you have to go into a nursing home. There are virtually no government services that pay for in-home care, if you will, to kind of get by when you're older. I don't want to say I'm of two minds of this thing. On one hand, okay, it makes sense. When you're young, you never think you're going to need. I'm immortal. I don't need that stuff. I'm not going to pay into it. And yet, all of us kind of generally get there. On the other hand, should this be a government responsibility? They screwed up a lot of other things in terms of providing medical care, and you could argue this is very expensive, especially for something you might not end up needing.
Well, and the other issue is if we're all paying on average $1,500 a year, is this going into a lockbox, to quote Al Gore, or is it like Social Security, where in theory the money is being put away, but it's not? It's just being spent, and then when the time comes years from now, it's going to be another broke entitlement program.
They'll borrow from that giant pool of money. There's an IOU in a file cabinet somewhere in Pennsylvania. Congress is no more going to pass up that giant pile of money than Tiger can pass up a Perkins waitress, William.
You guys are both right, okay? And there's a huge argument about this because some of the proponents tried to pull my, say, oh, yeah, it's lockbox, they'll never touch it. Then I called the CBO and they go, no, lockbox does not exist. It's like Social Security. There's a fund at the Treasury. It's supposed to, but we'll borrow against it, and then we'll use general funds to supplement it if it's a little short. In fact, I'm taking these words out of the CBO analysis. It says, quote, unless modifications are made by the HHS secretary, the quote, and I'm quoting, the program will add to future federal budget deficits in a large and growing fashion.
Wow, that's stunning.
I know.
And nobody is talking about this.
I know. Now, my guess is we'll start to see something maybe this weekend in the New York Times. I was told they were working on it. So you're going to go and you're going to, what the heck is this? I didn't know about this. So that's what I'm telling you.
All of a sudden, I notice another $200 a month's coming out of my check. I've never even
$200 a month.
Never even heard about this before.
What the
and if you're older, if you start when you're, I think, 23 years old is when it kicks in, is when you first start. Here's the good part, okay? So if you start when you're 23, it won't be the average, which is, again, CBO, Congressional Budget Office, says $150. CMS, which is Medicaid, Medicare, says $250 a month, okay? That's the average. So if you start when you're young, it maybe is only $80 a month.
Too late.
Then it's what?
Too late. Go on.
Too late?
Sorry. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways.
No, I'm saying it's too late for us to start when we're young. Yeah.
If you're like, your age, it could be $400 a month. And then you'll elect probably not to do it. Then I'll have to pay for your care later on. I don't know.
Good. Now, finally, you're talking some sense. William Jeunesse of Fox News in L.A. William, it is just stunning. It turns out Nancy Pelosi was right. We did have to vote for the bill to find out what was in it.
That's what the Republicans are saying. They're saying, we no wonder we didn't have any idea. We never saw the darn thing.
All right.
And that was the interview yesterday. Thanks.
All right. Don't step in any S. All right. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
All right. See you later.
Yeah, but where's
what?
The bill has been out since Saturday. Or when did it come out? The CBO gave their report. So where are the Republicans on cable news telling you about this? Has anybody taken the time to point this out other than William Jeunesse? I haven't heard it anywhere. I don't think a lot of people are doing their jobs. First of all, there should be a lot of media outlets that have gone through the bill and brought us this information sometime earlier in this week, and certainly political representation that should have brought it to our attention.
Boy, there's going to be a couple hundred, maybe a few hundred out of your check every month?
400 if you're older?
Me?
400 a month?
Wait a minute.
Wow, is right.
As they're getting going on 30 Rock?
Walk is right.
Walk?
You can opt out of it.
But then I'm going to be, my dog is going to eat my corpse as I, like dead on my kitchen floor. There's an alternative.
But how many people...
At least he'll get fed.
How many people are going to pay several months' worth before they even catch on to the fact that they're paying this?
They'll go to payroll. What is this?
Yeah.
Well, that's your long-term government disability lockbox money.
What if I don't want it? Well, you can opt out. It's going to take like 6 months worth of paperwork to opt out.
But keep in mind, your dog will eat your flesh.
Marshall's News is coming up. You are listening to the Armstrong and Getty Show and watching on the Bay Area's TV 50.